Hi, episode 4, Tribal Knowledge, testing the sump pump in the house to make sure it turns on. So we're going to hook up a hose to the basement water supply. Should always check that there's a little rubber washer in the hose fitting. Make sure it's reasonably tight. And then we're going to bring the hose over to the large bucket of the sump pump. All right, now this house has what's called French drains. There's a ring of plastic pipes all around the house, and there are holes in the tops of the pipes. So if water gets close to the foundation, the water gets into the top of the pipes, and the pipes all drain to this large bucket, which is just below floor level. And inside this large bucket is a water pump with a float valve. If the water rises in the bucket, it activates the pump, and the pump will pump the water out to the front of the house. So we're gonna put the hose into the large sump bucket, and we're gonna turn the water on, and we'll see if the pump is activated. Now, the power to it is an interesting plug. This wire goes to the switch, the float switch in the bucket. So when the switch turns on, it will then activate the motor, the pump motor, which is this plug right here. So you got to be careful not to unplug this. The pump plug has to be into the switch circuit, right? And then this extension cord just goes to a regular outlet. So I'm going to turn on the water, and I'll be back in a moment.
I'll follow you.
And now I'm just listening for when the float switch comes up and turns the motor on. It's a very large drum container. Oh, there it is. I hear the motor starting. Yep, I can hear it spitting water out the front of the house. Obviously, the water pump in this tank is waterproof, so there's no electrical hazard. All right, it's got to be working because the drum, this big tank, is not filling up, so the pump is working. In addition, these extra hoses are from the boiler and the air conditioner. The boiler and the air conditioner both have condensation collection trays. So when the cold air conditioning unit in the corner has enough condensation in it, it flows down the hose and into this same large collection tank. All right, I'm going to shut the water off. And while we're at it, you'll notice this electrical outlet, a ground fault safety outlet, is flashing, which means the outlet is dead. That'll be our next tribal knowledge coming up, maybe later tonight or tomorrow. Are you still running? Okay, so we're going to shut the water off. And we got one other little piece of tribal knowledge. Before I coil the hose, we got to get the water out of the hose. So we're going to raise the hose up and force all the water into the sump tank. This way there's no water stagnating in the hose. I can hear the water draining into the tank. And this is the same reason that intravenous bags in a hospital are always held higher than the patient. So gravity allows the blood to get into the patient or whatever medications are in the bag. I'll replace the condensation tube. And now we just have to wind up the hose. Trick is to wind it up and follow the natural curve, its original curve, so you don't get any kinks. All right, we're good. You can finish it, Mike.